All right, guys. Last video for Monday, 3/16. This is part 3. This is just a little spaced practice. All these are going to be review. The first problem, I'm just going to go over how I filled out my worksheet here. I'm not going to do the whiteboard version. So 2 gray dots to 3 gray dots. We can write it as 2/3 as a fraction. We can write it as 2 to 3 with the word 2. And then we can write it using our ratio symbols, 2 to 3 with the colon in the middle. Once again, coming down here to the table, we've got the worksheet gives us some integers, and we're looking for the opposite, and the absolute value of each. The opposite is just kind of, I like to think about it as the mirror number on the other side of 0. So the opposite of 3, positive 3, is negative 3. The opposite of negative 4 then is positive 4, and the opposite of positive 8 is negative 8. Notice that we don't have to write the plus sign in front of the numbers. Of course, they're just implied. That's how we learn numbers. They're just always going to be learned as positive. The absolute value of any number, remember, is just the distance that it is from 0. Whether it's positive or negative, absolute should tell you that the value is the same. So negative 3 and 3, the value is 3. Negative 4 and 4, the value is 4. And negative 8 and positive 8, the value is 8. Coming down here, whoops, a little hard to do this backwards. Coming down here to number 3, an expression, this is just translating English into math language. It says a number n divided by 6, and we just write it as n divided by 6. Very simple. Again, if I'm going a little fast for you, pause it and take notes as needed. Here we're just doing simple addition and subtraction using decimals. The key to think about is make sure if you didn't get the same answer that I got, please make sure that you lined up your problem correctly. In the subtraction problem that you ungrouped, and the addition problem that you regrouped. Regrouping and ungrouping are the key areas for mistakes. Otherwise, these are straightforward problems. Once again, number 5 and 6, or number 5, it's 2 parts. It's just simple division and multiplication problems. I'm trying to find my pen on the screen. Here we are. So we're dividing 6, finding out how many times 6 goes into 975. Long division strategy. Follow it through. You might have gotten 162 and 3/6. That's fine. I turned it into a decimal point 5. And then 478 times 38. Once again, just be careful as you're multiplying that when you're multiplying and using that strategy, that you're regrouping as needed, and that here, coming down here, when you get into the tens place, give yourself that 0 so you move over place value. Otherwise, you should have gotten an answer of 18,164. Bringing the paper up here. I'm not very good at this. I promise I'll get better. But here we go. So the problem that says 4 shirts for 32 bucks. Asking for the rate, pretty simple. We divide and we find that it's $8 per shirt. Simple enough. The unit rate, it's asking us how much would $1 get us. $1 would get us 1/8 of a shirt. Kind of a weird deal, but that's just a good thing to think about in your brain. And here on number 2, you're just going to use the shaded in portion of the grid. There's 100 squares in that grid. It's a 10 by 10 grid, and it's asking you to come up with a fraction, a decimal, a ratio, and a percent, and you can count them up if you like. It's 30 colored, 70 are not colored. So a fraction is 3/10. If you wrote a fraction of 30 hundredths, give yourself credit, that's also correct. The decimal, of course, would be 0.3. The ratio is 3 to 10, or 30 to 100, and the percent is 30%. This is all review. We've done it before. That's why I'm going very quickly through this, okay? Number 5, it's asking us 50%. You're going to use the strategy of cross multiplication and find that x equals 40. Simple enough there, 50% of 80. Finally, number 5 is asking you to complete the table and graph the coordinates, x plus 2. Simple enough. And I did skip number 4. Number 4, you're going to divide 4 divided by 5 and 3 divided by 8. You'll find, if you use a calculator, since you're at home, you might as well. You'll find the decimal values of each. Then you'll just do a quick subtraction, and you'll find that Ken grew more, and there he grew more by 0.425 of an inch. So he grew significantly more than Sang grew. All right, that's all the time we have for this video. This is 3 of 3 for March 16th. I'll be